Assalamu alaikum. My name is Dr. Asma, and the topic of my presentation is topographical anatomy of spinal cord, cervical, thoracic, and lumbar cross sections, conus medullaris, and chorda equina. Spinal cord dimensions and enlargement. Spinal cord is a cylindrical cylinder of nerve tissue almost 40 to 45 centimeter in length and 1 centimeter in thickness. It continues from medulla oblongata, runs from the foramen magnum, runs down to the L1, L2 vertebra in adults. Along its pathway, there are two enlargements, cervical and lumbosacral. These cervical and lumbosacral enlargements, these are the these are actually the collection of nerves that innervate upper limbs and lower limbs. Cervical C4T1 innervation of upper limbs via brachial plexus, and L1 and S2 innervates the lower limbs via lumbosacral plexus. What is the clinical significance? If there are lions within these enlargements, they destroy the lower motor neurons, causing flaccid paralysis at that level while sparing or causing upper motor neuron signs below it, because in these enlargements, there are collections of the lower motor neurons cells. That's why at the level of the injury, we have the symptoms of lower motor neurons, and below we experience the symptoms of upper motor neurons. Scenario of isolated C6 lion is upper limbs have if there is isolated C6 lion, upper limbs will have the lower motor neuron signs as flaccid paralysis, loss of biceps, and brachioradialis reflexes, as these reflexes have the nerve root value of C5 and C6, and lower limb have spastic paralysis, wrist reflexes, and upgoing plantars, and these are the upper motor neuron signs. The vertebral spinal discrepancy. The growth mismatch. In embryology, the vertebral column grows much faster than the spinal cord. The result is that the spinal cord shifts upward and spinal segments do not align horizontally with their corresponding bony vertebra. There is a clinician's rule of thumb that the upper cervical almost align with their corresponding vertebra, like C1 vertebra lies approximately as C1 cord, while the upper thoracic we add 1 or 2, like T4 vertebra overlies the T6 cord, and lower thoracic overlies the lumbar cord segments, and L1, L2 lies over the conus medullaris, sacral, and coccygeal segments. Meningeal coverings and clinical spaces. Spinal cord is also covered by 3 layers: dura mater, arachnoid mater, and pia mater. These are the 3 protective layers continuous with the cranial meninges. There are 2 spaces, epidural spaces. The content of the space is fat and the internal vertebral venous plexus, the Batson's plexus. The Batson plexus is the plexus of veins, which are valveless veins, and they carry the blood from the pelvic regions, and they have significance in carrying the mets from those organs into the spinal cord. Clinical use. Epidural space is used for epidural anesthesia, path of least resistance for spinal abscesses. The subarachnoid space contains the CSF and radicular blood vessel. It is a target site for spinal anesthesia and lumbar punctures. General cross-sectional of the cord. These are the 3 segments. These are cervical, thoracic, and lumbar cross-sections. Spinal cord is made of 2 types of matters, gray matter and white matter. Gray matter is H-shaped, and it's composed of neuronal cell bodies, dendrites, and unmyelinated axons. What are the functional divisions? They consist of posterior ons, anterior and lateral on, and they carry the corresponding tracts. Posterior on carry the sensory, anterior carry the exclusively motor, and lateral present only from T1 to L2 and S2 to S4 parasympathetics preganglionics. White matter. It is divided into 3 large bundles called funiculi: posterior, lateral, and anterior. Posterior columns dorsal, lateral are lateral funicular, and tracts carry the ventral spinothalamic, and the function of the posterior is fine touch, proprioception, and vibration. Lateral have the function of pain and temperature, and the ventral spinothalamic tracts have crude touch function. Spinal cord on imaging. There are 2 imaging modalities, CT scan and MRI. For the spinal cord, we mostly focus on the MRI, and the CT is for the bony framework. CT spine, the bone window, best for acute trauma, bony fractures, dislocations, and cortical bone detail. Limitation is it has poor soft tissue resolution, cannot directly visualize spinal cord edema, contusions, or early ischemia. MRI spine is the gold standard. It best for spinal cord compressions, disc herniations, epidural abscesses. The clinical priority in acute spinal cord injury with progressive neurological deficit, a normal CT doesn't rule out cord pathology, so urgent MRI is mandatory. T1 versus T2 quick identification. MRI has T1 and T2 weighted images. T2 weighted images shows CSF in bright white. It creates a perfect hydrographic outline of the cord. While the T1 CSF is dark, it is best for looking at bone marrow changes and using gadolinium contrast. Tracking the cord edge, follow the gray cord structure down behind the vertebral bodies. Then we find the conus, check, find at L1 and L2 junction. We have a conus medullaris, which is a solid cord taper smoothly to the right. The chorda equina zone below L2, look for the bright white lumbar cisterna containing thin vertical gray lines hanging nerve roots. The conus medullaris anatomy and boundaries. It is the tapered conical distal termination of the spinal cord. Its anatomical level is at the level of L1, L2 intervertebral disc space in adults. Note, it terminates much lower in newborns, around at the L3 level. And the conus medullaris has fibers mostly from the S1 to S2, S3 and S4. It continues inferiorly with the filum terminale, a delicate stand of pia mater that anchors the cord to the coccyx. Conus medullaris syndrome. It typically caused by L1 vertebral fractures, as the vertebra is L1, but the level of the cord is the L1 vertebra has the cord level of conus medullaris, so it disrupts the conus medullaris, causing the and the cause is central disc herniation or intramedullary tumors. Clinical presentation, it has sudden onset and early autonomic dysfunction like urinary retention, overflow incontinence, loss of anal sphincter tone and erectile dysfunction, and also the saddle anesthesia, perineal region segments anesthesia. Motor function, relatively preserved leg strength because the lumbar segments are preserved, though mild weakness may present. Absent ankle jerk, S1, S2 and anal weak, but the knee jerk L3, L4 is typically preserved. The chorda equina anatomy and spatial arrangement. It is a bundle of loose lumbar, sacral and coccygeal nerve roots, and it lies much lower than the conus medullaris, hanging vertically below the terminal end of the spinal cord. It's suspended within the lumbar cisternae, a large subarachnoid space spanning from the L2 vertebra down to S2. It is a safe zone because the nerves are floating in the CSF and ideal site for the lumbar puncture. Because these are peripheral nerve roots and they lack the protective epineurum of peripheral nerves, so the nerves are highly sensitive to compression. Chorda equina syndrome. Its etiology is massive central disc herniation, most common at L4 and L5. Conus was most common at L1. And clinical presentation, it has a gradual onset as compared to the conus medullaris, and it has more severe sharp shooting radicular pain down the legs, sciatica, and intense lower back pain. Motor function, weakness or flaccid paralysis of the lower limbs, often affecting the distribution in foot drop due to L5 compressions. Sensory loss is asymmetrical in conus medullaris, but symmetrical saddle anesthesia, and here it is asymmetrical saddle anesthesia. Reflexes, pure lower motor neuron, signs completely absent or diminished, knee jerks and ankle jerks. And the autonomic dysfunction like urinary retention and fecal incontinence are the much later signs as compared to conus medullaris. Thank you. तो सबसे पहले तो लोकेशन है कि जो कोनस मेडुलैरिस सिंड्रोम है उसमें मोस्ट लाइकली हमारे पास जो L1 वर्टिब्रा का अगर डिसलोकेशन या फ्रैक्चर हो तो वो कोनस मेडुलैरिस को इफेक्ट करता है और कॉर्डा इक्विना मच लोअर है उससे। और जो कोनस मेडुलैरिस के सिम्टम्स होते हैं वो सडन आते हैं और उसमें जो अर्ली है वो ऑटोनॉमिक डिसफंक्शंस आते हैं। इसमें जो कॉर्डा इक्विना है इसमें पेन जो होती है, बैक पेन जो सियाटिका है वो अर्ली आती है, लेकिन जो ऑटोनॉमिक डिसफंक्शंस होते हैं वो मच लेटर साइंस होते हैं। कॉर्डा इक्विना में लोअर मोटर के आते हैं और कोनस में अपर के आते हैं। नेक्स्ट आता है।
फिर आपने ये बहुत इंपॉर्टेंट है इसमें सिमेट्रिकल कौन सा और एसिमेट्रिकल कौन सा, बहुत इंपॉर्टेंट। एसिमेट्रिकल आपकी कॉर्डा करना क्या आ जाएगी, एसिमेट्रिकल आपके कोनस के आ जाएगी। तो एक ही जगह पे लीजिए, कोनस के अंदर सारे सेगमेंट इकट्ठे हो जाते हैं, सैक्रल भी और आपके लोअर लंबर। इन्होंने दो डायलिटेशन बताई है सरकार, एक सर्वाइकल बताई है, एक लंबर बताई है। सर्वाइकल में कौन कौन से सेगमेंट पे होगी वो?
सो इसमें यही है कि जो अपर सर्वाइकल सेगमेंट्स हैं वो ऑलमोस्ट उसके लेवल पे आ जाते हैं। C1 वर्टिब्रा अप्रॉक्सीमेटली C1 कॉर्ड के होता है, लेकिन जो अपर थोरेसिक है ना उसमें उन वर्टिब्रास के लेवल पे 1 या 2 ऐड करते जाते हैं। फॉर एग्जांपल T4 वर्टिब्रा है तो वो मोस्टली जो कॉर्ड का सेगमेंट होगा वो T6 होगा। इसी तरह जो लोअर थोरेसिक है उसमें जो T10 और T12 पे अगर कोई इंजरी या फ्रैक्चर आता है तो हमारे पास जो कॉर्ड का सेगमेंट होगा वो लंबर भी डैमेज हो रहा होता है। और जो अगर कोनस के लेवल पे होते हैं तो वो सैक्रोलोकॉक्सिजियल सेगमेंट्स होते हैं। L1 और L2 के लेवल पे कोनस होता है।
आप मुझे ये बता दें कि C1 और C2 के दरमियान में से कौन सी नर्व रूट आएगी? C1 वर्टिब्रल लेवल, C2 वर्टिब्रल लेवल के दरमियान में से कौन सी नर्व रूट है?
C1 नहीं आएगी।
C1 जो है C1 नर्व रूट C1 के अबव आएगी।